Hi, my name's Ryan Pope.
I'm Erin Soiklang.
Today we'll be testing the different types of calibers of pistols for home defense. The first weapon system that we have down here is the Sig Saucer 9mm. It has a 15 round capacity magazine. Second weapon system will be the Glock 23. It has it's a 40 caliber. It has a 13 round magazine capacity. And last but not least is the Colt 45, and it has a 7 round capacity magazine. In order to test these weapon systems, we're going to use the depth penetration method, which is shooting a round into these phone books from each weapon system, and then determining which round made it the furthest through the phone book will determine which round is best used for penetration. And then for the watermelon test, we're going to be testing the entrance and exit wounds for the watermelon. So we'll be shooting one round into 3 different watermelons and measuring the entrance and exit wounds for those watermelons. Alright, this will be the 45 caliber penetration test with the phone books. Javier here will be the demonstrator. Whenever you're ready, Javier. Alright. Good shot. Alright, there you go. Alright, the next test will be the 9mm penetration test. Erin here will be the demonstrator for that one. Erin, whenever you're ready. That's good. Alright, last but not least is the 40 caliber for the same penetration test. Phone book. Alright, we're testing to see how far each round went deep into the phone books. This is the 45. Alright, so the 45, or excuse me, the 40 caliber made it through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 phone books. Here's the projectile. That's it. Now we'll be doing the entry and exit wounds for the watermelon test. The first round we're going to be firing is the 45 caliber ACP.
Alright, this is going to be the entry and exit wound penetration for the 40 caliber on the watermelon test. Alright, my name's Javier, and this is the 9mm watermelon test.
Alright, this was the watermelon entry and exit wound test. Right now I'm doing the back side, so that's the exit wounds for each one of the rounds. This is the 45, the 40, and the 9mm. The 45, the exit wound was approximately, we'll say, 1 3/4 inches. Alright. The 40 cal is approximately about the same size, so 1 3/4 inches.
Showing you what this is for.
And as you can see, the 9mm had the most devastating effect. When we moved the watermelon, this bottom half kind of fell through. So the actual exit wound for the watermelon is approximately 3 inches in diameter. It's good. Alright, let's have some fun. Hi, my name's Ryan Pope. This is the group for testing the 3 different weapon calibers of pistol for home defense. Prior to going out to the range and using the firearms, I gave a little safety briefing to the rest of my group members. basic weapons marksmanship and stuff like that. Proper emplacement of the weapon systems. Make sure you don't point it at anything you don't intend to shoot. Keep the weapon pointed downrange at all times. Don't put your finger inside the trigger well before you're ready to shoot, and keep the weapon on safe at all times. When we got to the range, I also gave them their left and their right limits, which is basically where you're supposed to shoot. Don't shoot outside of this side. Don't shoot outside of the other side. Always be cognizant of other people on the range. And of course, like I said, just use your common sense. Alright, I just wanted to reiterate the size of the different magazines for each weapon, as well as the velocity of the rounds. For the 45 caliber ACP, it's the slowest in terminal velocity, and it also has the smallest magazine capacity. The magazine size for the 45 is approximately 7 rounds because the round is so much larger than the other two calibers. It also shoots the slowest. I think it's in between like 700 and 900 feet per second as far as how fast the round travels. The 40 cal, not much different from the 9 mil in size or magazine capacity. The round is just slightly bigger. It's almost the equivalent of a 10 millimeter, which is obviously only 1 millimeter bigger than the 9 mil. The capacity of the magazine is 13 rounds in the magazine, and it travels at approximately anywhere between 12 and I think 1,300 feet per second. Now the 9 mil, it travels the fastest of the three, and it travels at about 1,400 feet per second. It also has the largest capacity in the magazine, which is anywhere from like 15 to, I think the most I've ever heard of was 17 rounds in the magazine. Obviously you can buy extended magazines for each one of these weapon systems to increase the magazine capacity, but we didn't test for that. So let's see. As far as the watermelon test, the 40 and the 45 caliber, they really weren't much different. The entrance wounds of the 45 and the 40 cal were the size of the rounds, just like in the 9 mil. But obviously there's going to be a tad bit larger than the 9 mil because they're larger rounds than the 9 mil. What was interesting was the exit wounds, which were about 1 3/4 inches in size for both the 40 and the 45 cal on the watermelon test. But the 9 mil was actually the most interesting because the exit wound was so much more devastating than the other two. And I think that's due large in fact to the velocity at which the round traveled. Yeah, the 9 mil's exit wound was about 3 inches in diameter, and it actually caused the backside of the watermelon to implode on itself. The first two, the 40 and the 45 cal, seemed to be pretty much still intact, so that was pretty interesting. Alright, so pause it for a second. Alright. So for the phone book penetration test, the 9 mil went the furthest through the stacks of phone books. It went about 8 phone books, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for the 40 cal, it went second furthest through the phone books, which was, I think, 6 phone books. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then for the 45, it went 5 phone books. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in conclusion, I would say based off of the watermelon test, the size of the capacity of the magazine and the phone book penetration test, as well as the velocity of the round, I would have to say that the 9 mil would be the best round to use for the home defense purposes. It also has the least amount of recoil than the other two weapons, which is an X factor that we didn't necessarily account for. However, in shooting the weapon systems, that's when you get the most familiarity with the three different types. And of the three different ones, we all agreed that the 9mm has the least amount of kick of all of them.